childhood, growing and developing years of a person, this is meant to be a highly important time to create morals, fundamentals, and skills necessary to be a success. Instead, the trauma CPS creates in these young minds set a path of disaster, and statistics prove it. In nearly 90% of their cases, the trauma is unnecessary. Time is the one thing that can never be given back. CPS takes away moments in life that can't be replaced. The time just keeps going, doesn't mean a thing anymore. They left as children, and it's up to them when they come home if they know who you are. Each second away is time you will never get back and keep getting older.
Studies are leading towards incarceration.
Now comes the honorable judge in the halls of justice, where the Constitution will hold strong and your rights to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness will trample CPS for all they have done to your child.
The truth and corruption that's revealed to you is enough to make you sick. This is not America we were sold.
Children are being taken from families at the rate of 1 a minute. It needs to be stopped.
It's time to wake up and abolish CPS.
Psalm 127:3. Children are a heritage from the Lord, offspring a reward from Him. This suggests children are a precious gift from God to be valued and cared for.
In the United States, a child a minute is taken into DHS, CPS, and so on custody. The reality is their picks are already selected, you just don't know it. Being perfect no longer matters. It's what the adopting families are looking for.
Who is it stealing the children, you ask?
From caseworker to the White House, the buck stops at all levels, just not where it is supposed to be. The services your family needs, we the people have paid for to ensure your reunification. Title IV says, reunify at all costs. United, we stand means nothing to us when it comes to family values. Children are being ripped away from their families. Parents are reverting to addictive behaviors to cover the pain. The trauma caused by child removal is just being recognized, and the results are atrocious. Termination of parental rights is not healthy for anyone, just profitable for the people enforcing the lie.
It's time Washington listens to the cries of our children, the wails of their mothers, and the rage growing in the fathers. These are our children. Keep your damn hands off them. We are coming to act on the behalf of the children God gave us to protect, and you kidnapped.
In the United States, CPS makes upwards of $3 billion per day on trafficking and selling our children. The corruption may start with the caseworker, but goes through the judicial system, passing the governor through the Senate and into the White House. The entire system has a hand in the business known as CPS.
Our children are stolen every minute of a 24-hour day. They are being robbed of their innocence, their trust, their happiness. As parents, we are isolated and betrayed by a government we trust. States are balancing budgets on kids' lives. Only 12% of the kids taken will be reunified. Title IV funding is being riveted with fraud.
All right, everybody, welcome back to. Let me shut this phone off here. Welcome back to everybody. It's Monday evening. That makes it Josie Monday. That means where we talk about North America and Canada. North America and Canada, my bad. North America itself and how CPS ravages through us no matter what. The boundaries don't matter. The problems that we have here are the same problems that they have over in Canada. And that is very, very evident with our co-host here with Josie, who deals with these same problems that we do. CBS has no boundaries. They have all kinds of money. They don't need to stop at anything. They have no oversight, and the little bit of oversight they do have could care not about the positions of you and your family. We prove this time and time again, people. The one thing that you need to remember is they are not here for your kids. I mean, for yourself and your family. They are here for your kids. They're here to collect the money from the Title IV funding and the CAPTCHA and all of these other things that bring money to CPS. It's a giant, enormous fraud system that needs to be, wrangled up, grabbed a hold of, choked out, and just done with. Actually, it just needs to be abolished, and that's my full-on opinion. We can't band-aid this system. There is no band-aid for this because they've corrupted it so much. They have made this once in a lifetime or one-time program that was meant to, if you believe this, help those in need that were having temporary life situations in a family environment, and the kids need a little protection. Well, it's gone a long way from there. And now we're at where we're at, where CPS is literally stealing a child a minute. And this number is just in North America. A child a minute will be taken from their homes, and you will never know these statistics until you get involved with CPS. A child a minute. Now, that's not including all the investigations. That is a child a minute is taken from their homes, never to be reunified to their families. Every minute, kids are being kidnapped, taken out of their homes with loving families. Maybe the family has a temporary glitch or a problem. Either way, didn't deserve to be removed. This is asinine. I cannot believe that the Congress and our government, the President of the United States, which is a big part of this thing, are allowing this to take place. I can't believe that the Hollywood elites, even though that they play such a large role in this, and this is all unfolding with the P. Diddy scandals, this is going right down the line of the rap industry and the Hollywood industry, that there's still not a person that stands up and says, whoa, people, enough. And if there are, they're not being loud enough. So that's our job. That's our job here, to make sure that we start getting loud enough to spread this word that we won't take any more of this kidnapping. Not in America, not in the United States, not in Canada, not even in the upper state of Alaska, because we have people up there watching. No more, people. No more. And don't forget to like, subscribe. We want to welcome back the people from Twitch. Sorry about being so fired up, but I just had a neighborhood situation I had to deal with that got my blood just going. But let's bring in Josie here to start tonight. Josie.
Hi guys, how are you doing?
How are you, Josie?
I'm good. Just make sure to look in your comments to see if maybe my two guests might come in. So
yes,
if I finally found two English-speaking people that wanted to talk.
Oh, awesome. So yeah, are you talking about in our chats here, or are they gonna email me, or
Well, I
they'll put
sent
it in
them the
chat.
link, so maybe they'll just show up somewhere.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know, where do I show up?
Excellent. You're right there above me. There you are, Joe. It's right above my head.
Okay. So yeah.
But yeah, hey guys, if you want to interact with us, you got things to say, you want questions answered, you can go right here, throw up a chat. I'd like it if you guys were on here, and if you're watching, just throw in a chat. Tell us where you're from. Let us know what area you're from. Let us know what your CPS problems are. If you have questions, any sort of thing like that, I would be glad to answer them to the best of my ability. And I'm sure someone on our panel here, like Miss Melissa or Mr. Herbert, would come in and answer these questions if we needed to. Guys, how are we doing tonight?
Hey, I'm good. How are you doing?
Hey,
Hi,
Melissa.
Josie. Hello, Josie.
Josie, Herbert's telling you hello. You can hear us?
I
No?
said hello first.
Oh, okay. All right. Good. Whew. All right. Sorry about that. Yeah, for any of you that don't know us, that's Melissa. Josie's on every Monday night. She comes to us from the Great White North, and then obviously we have Harold. Harold. I'm sorry, Jesus. My bad. We have Herbert, the law enforcement guru, or czar, as he likes to be called. So we've got him. So if you have law enforcement questions pertaining to CPS, go ahead and throw those up too. Herbert was a long time New York highway patrol officer. How many years, Herbert?
Over 30 years, I worked for the state of New York.
Over 30. So for those 30 years, Herbert had no idea how intrusive, how corrupt, how barbaric, how just awful CPS truly is, and worked underneath this code of CPS silence, that they were there to be home helpers and home this, that, and the other. And, maybe you need a couple nights at grandma's before you can go back to your house. Not a permanent, placement, right, Herbert?
That's correct.
Right. So what have you, Herbert, we'll just do a recap of you. You started this, you didn't know about CPS, right? CPS was
Right.
like ranked number 27th on your daily things to look into. Now,
Well, I'll answer this way by saying that most police officers don't know how the in-depthness of CPS is. When they're called out by CPS personnel, they're there to act as basically peacekeepers between CPS personnel and parents. And just to make sure there's no problems when CPS personnel are carrying out their duties. But we don't get involved with that aspect. We just make sure there's no confrontation between the two parties.
right. Do you feel like that's enough now? Do you feel like that job is enough for the police, or do you feel like the police should do maybe a little bit more of a role in this? What's your
Well,
thoughts?
for one, I've learned since I've been part of your show to make sure that if they're going to take a child, that to make sure it's signed documentation by a judge to do that, and not that the paperwork is back at the office or we don't have it with us or whatever. Well, I'll make sure. I mean, I would, if I was on the job now, I would make sure they have the documentation signed by the judge to take the child and what children they're going to take, what child they're going to take.
Yeah, but Herbert, most of the police officers that assist for quote keeping the peace, they come out there ready to kick in doors. They don't
Because
help defend the family to make sure everything's fair. They come out there and assume their word is correct.
Yes, Darren asked me a question. I was answering Darren's question. And I'm saying to you, Melissa, that many police officers don't know what I know right now. Right. So yes, police officers to this day may come out there and they're running their mouth. The CPS personnel are not even talking. And a police officer's talking for CPS, which they should not be doing. I'm saying they should not. Let CPS talk to the parents. The officer should stand on the side as a security guard, basically, to make sure there's no confrontation. So what you're saying, Melissa, is correct. When police officers come, they want to kick doors down to get the kids and all that. That's wrong.
Right. Well, I mean, we got
Especially if a police officer comes to the door with CPS and CPS says, well, we got the paperwork back at the office, but we have to come and take this child. And then the police is kicking down the door. That's wrong on behalf of the police officer. Where is the paperwork? Where is the paperwork that's signed by the judge?
You know, that's the one thing I can say that I'm very fortunate is we have a good sheriff's department here. The sheriff's department, even if CPS comes with paperwork signed by a judge, tell them to do anything they want here. The sheriff's department won't get involved. They stay out there by their cars. They don't want in the drama because they know it's bullshit.
Right.
Well, we're saying the same thing, Melissa, but I'm also saying in many states, you're in the state of Alabama, they're doing that. But if you look at state of Kentucky, Tennessee, Oklahoma, you go to other states, those police officers may not thoroughly understand what's going on with CPS.
Right. That's just, Josie, what is the police department, first of all, called up in Canada? Are they called police department or whatever? And then secondly, do you see them as maintaining a role involved in kids or taking the children of that?
Well, I think it's a little bit like Herbert was saying. They're just there because they're ordered to be there. Okay. Like they don't really partake in anything. They're just like there. But most of the time, we don't like. I don't know, but like in like normal cases, I think CPS just tells the parents to go to their offices, and then the children just don't leave their office, kind of thing. They don't come to our houses normally.
So you don't see like you see here, where we see CPS on a daily routine, going into people's homes and taking the kids directly from the home.
No, normally you would see them say, you would see CPS say, come to our office, we need to talk to you, we need to evaluate the child, blah, blah, and then the child just stays there and never leaves, and the parents just leave, right, kind of thing?
So that's pretty much what they did in my case.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is, in Canada, you actually have to bring your kids to the police to drop them off, and then they never get brought home again.
Right. That's
same thing in Alabama.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's got to be a.
Yeah, no, they told me to come in for a case service plan here in Alabama. They're like, come on down, we're gonna do a case service plan review. We walked in and there's 6 cops standing in the room.
Wow.
And they looked at me and JR and said, you guys can leave. The kids aren't going. No paperwork, no nothing.
Why isn't that entrapment?
I know no CPS law is that way. I don't have to say whether it's entrapment or not, because if it was, if what Melissa is saying, which I believe that many parents, like Josie was saying, are called down and bring the children to CPS, and parents would say, no, I'm not coming there, which now causes the CPS to go to the house with the police.
I think that's what they do to a lot of people that are already on a safety plan, where they think they're working with the department, and they don't think of it as being a hostile run in and steal the kids. I think they have a lot of us walk our kids in the front door thinking that we're just going to a random meeting. You walk in one door and you get kicked out the back door, and you leave without your kids.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, how come that's not entrapment? You know what? I wish we had some of those high test or high popularity people that we have on here that talk about this a lot too. People like Malibu Dallas and so on, to answer these questions. What he sees. I mean, how is that not entrapment? If CPS called you up and said, "Hey, come on down to this meeting," or you say it this way, it's come to the family team meeting. You go there, and it's not because this is kind of like my situation. But they say, come down for the family team meeting. You go to the family team meeting, and it's not a family team meeting. It's actually a removal. Is that not entrapment? I mean, how does that stuff work?
Well, I think entrapment, the term entrapment would fall under criminal procedures. And see, they're not charging us with a crime. They just consider it. See, they don't have to have a court order if you walk in and voluntarily hand over your kids. Well, when you have 6 cops standing there, and you have a bunch of bitchy ass ladies in your face saying you're gonna leave these kids, what do you do? If you raise hell and try to take your kids with you, well, now you're starting a stink on their property, and the police will protect the department. So it's a double-edged lose-lose sword.
Well, I mean, right, because isn't the child is considered your property, right?
Right.
How come? Can you protect your property at the police station? I mean, do you have the right to defend your child?
Well, now at the police station, maybe, but how do you defend your child from CPS on CPS's property? Because most CPS agencies are a publicly owned private corporation. So you're on private property. When you're in their back room and you're doing whatever, you go in there and you raise a stink, well, now they got you for disorderly conduct. So it's a bully tactic.
Yeah. And then, so here's the next part of that question is, if you don't show up when they say that you have to be a part of this shenanigans that they've got going on, what are your penalties?
They're going to go to the judge the very next morning and take an emergency order arguing risk of harm.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, how did that start in the first place? Now, I'm a layman to this.
Mine was my daughter was receiving voluntary services. We went to them to get the services for my daughter that Michigan wanted her to have. And we had been doing their services for 3 months. So there was no reason to be afraid to walk in the building that day. Except for when we pulled up in the parking lot, all of a sudden, there's 4 cop cars sitting in there. We walk in the building, and there's 6 cops sitting in the room. And they just looked at us and said, okay, you guys can leave. Your kids ain't leaving.
Wow.
And there wasn't anything I can do, because anything I do, I'm going to get arrested.
When you say emergency services, such as what? You were providing what kind of emergency services?
Not emergency services, voluntary services.
Okay,
my daughter was receiving counseling with her probation. And the counseling was done through the department. They sent a counselor from a third-party organization to our house. Good. And that counselor testified on our behalf that everything was fine and proper.
Wow.
Yeah. So the child was receiving proper counseling, like the child's supposed to. So then what cause would they want to take your child away now?
Because that was their plan right from day one when they got involved. This was not... See, they didn't want my oldest daughter. My oldest daughter was damaged goods because she's out of control. She cuts up, she acts fool, she'll use drugs, she'll drink. They didn't want nothing to do with her. But they knew that I was 8.5 months pregnant and I had a very wonderful 3-year-old at home. So my daughter was a means to the children they're still holding hostage. See, they emancipated my daughter and closed her case out.
Right.
Because all they wanted was the young kids that sell for top dollar.
So if you had another child after that, they would want that child too? Is that what you're saying?
That's what they did.
Right.
So every child that you have sequenced after that, CPS would want to take that child. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
If my rights are terminated, yes.
No child
And
left behind.
you're saying your rights are terminated to have children?
Well, no, you can't terminate a person's rights to have children, but if they deem my kids dependent, which is like one of the first things they're supposed to do, but they've never done. If they deem my kids dependent and then work the reunification, I fail, they terminate, then any child that is born from me in this state will automatically be removed. No ifs, ands, or buts. My daughter was born a month after the kids went into care, and I got thrown out of the hospital. And they took her. Not because there was a risk of harm, but because that was the kid they really wanted, because I had already heard through the grapevine that they had a adopter already lined up to adopt.
So Melissa, what advice can you give to parents that are looking to have children to avoid your situation?
I would say have only boys. They don't start as much shit. But realistically, be aware of your surroundings. Don't get tied up in dumb shit. Don't give people cheap shots at you. Because all it takes is one pissed off family member to make a false report, or one cop that you backtalked that he's going to make a welfare check. You know, that's all it takes. Once that one person calls, if your kid's cute enough and meets the criteria, you're screwed.
Dang.
Would you agree, Darren?
I mean, I don't think it's I don't even think that's a question. I mean, that's just that's just it. You're screwed.
See, the reason I'm asking these questions is for people that are listening and trying.
Hold on, Herbert. Hold on. The question I would like to know is there a difference between parents that their rights were terminated, and difference between parents that either one had been substantiated but not terminated, or parents that were not terminated, not substantiated, but they were TPR'd? So how does that?
Okay. So that question I can answer because we got into that in the last hearing. Substantiation is only the argument of whether or not there could have been abuse or neglect or something to meet the criteria of at the time of the investigation. It is not whether or not you're allowed to have kids. Okay? If your rights are terminated, there is some laws, like every state has one, where if you have a prior termination, you have no right to have your kids moving forward. Okay? On the other hand, if it's been 10 years since your rights were terminated and you live 10 states away, no one will bother you unless something happens to where they have to look.
So is that true that they don't put a nationwide out? There's no like nationwide.
No, there's no nationwide network.
Okay.
And
So
Josie, your friend Cindy just came into the back room.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's also from Quebec, from the same.
She's also from Quebec. All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's bring Cindy in here. Cindy, Herbert, I'm going to push you to the back, buddy, for a little bit so you listen to the law enforcement stuff. I'll bring you back in here in a minute. All right. Cindy, how are you?
I'm fine, you?
Well, I mean, we're sitting here, we're fighting, we're doing what we can do, right?
Yeah.
Right. Cindy, this is the show that we talk about hunting justice. What is it over where you guys are, Josie? I forget.
DPG.
Yeah. DPG. DPJ. DPJ.
All right. All right. DPJ. So, what is going on with you, Cindy, and with the DPJ? DPJ, right?
Yeah.
DPG. They stole my kids because I'm in a wheelchair.
Oh my God! No.
Yeah.
Do you have the American? No, do you guys have the disabilities thing up in there? Do you have the American disabilities? What do you guys have in Canada?
What you
Do you have
say?
it?
Yeah,
Do you guys?
we have disability too, but yeah.
Yeah.
So Cindy, just a bit of backstory. Cindy is in a wheelchair, and she
Yeah.
has two little boys, and the DPG
You stole
came
them.
and
Oh.
took them away.
How old were the
Yeah.
little boys?
2 and 4.
2 and 4. Oh my God! How long have they been gone?
Almost 3 years now.
Oh my God.
2 and a
So
half.
what happened? What happened when they first came and they took them?
Ils voulaient pas que je sois toute seule.
They didn't want her to be alone.
Puis quand ils m'ont trouvée toute seule dans la maison, ils les ont pris.
So when she says that when the CPS workers found her by herself, they came and took them.
Après ils m'ont dit on va te les redonner, mais il faut que tu sois 24 heures sur 24 avec quelqu'un.
And then they said, we'll give you back your children if you find someone to be with you 24 hours a day.
Et après ça, j'ai trouvé quelqu'un, mais ils m'ont dit qu'ils n'avaient pas confiance en la personne, fait que ça marche pas.
Exactly. And then she found one of her aunts. I think c'était ta tante, c'est ça?
Oui.
So it was one of her aunts that she found that would help her. And then the DPG said, "Oh, we don't trust her. That's not good." And they decided to keep the babies.
Puis j'ai un médecin qui dit que je peux rester toute seule avec les enfants, mais la DPJ les crée pas.
And she has doctors that say she is totally fine to have her babies, and she she's been in a wheelchair for all her life, right?
Yeah,
So this is not like something that just happened. This is what she did. Tu dois te dire que tu t'es fait inséminer?
Oui.
Okay, I just asked her permission if I was allowed to tell that. On top of that, she was inseminated. The government paid for her to have a baby, and they took the babies away.
Oh my God! So that's how things go. And so in Canada, they have the insemination process for people that want to have a baby that aren't with somebody.
Yeah.
And then they took them away because she's bought. That sounds like a setup in itself, is it not?
Do you see how fucked up it is?
That's like just here you go. Let me throw the little pitch to you.
The only thought crosses my mind is puppy mill.
Yeah. That's crazy. Absolutely. Now, do the disability advocates in Canada work the same way like you, Josie, that you've experienced? Like, will they come out and fight for people with disabilities there? Or is it a tougher fight for someone like that's in a wheelchair?
I'll ask her. T'as-tu compris, Cindy?
Hein?
Comme y a-tu des groupes de personnes qui t'ont aidé?
Non. Il y a des groupes de personnes, mais quand tu leur dis que la DPJ est dans ta vie, ils font rien.
Okay. There's people, but when it comes to the DPG, they don't do anything.
Il y a la clinique Parents Plus qui offre des équipements adaptés pour les parents en fauteuil roulant. Puis eux, ils ont collaboré avec la DPJ pour essayer de me les enlever.
She said that there's a program that helps parents with disabilities, but they help the DPG to get her children taken away instead of helping her. Yeah. But she right now she sees her kids. Tu vois tes enfants quoi 2 fois? Combien de temps?
Une fois par semaine, 4 heures.
She sees her kids once a week for 4 hours. Supervised.
Avec des intervenants, ouais.
Supervised, yeah.
She's lucky.
Yeah.
I only get to see my kids 1 hour a week.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's on a good week, right? What is so you're telling me that they have first of all, we know that everything that they do is crap and they'll make whatever, but they literally have some sort of a statute or a rule or something that says that a woman cannot be a single woman, that they have to have a mate with them to handle it if they have a disability, handle a child, they have to do that. Is that something, or did they make it up for her situation?
T'as-tu compris la question?
J'ai de la misère à cause de la musique qui joue en arrière.
OK. Ben, il fait demander que est-ce que c'est une règle à la DPJ que vu que tu es handicapé, que tu as besoin d'avoir quelqu'un avec toi 24 heures, ou bien ils ont juste fait ça aléatoire à toi pour rien?
Ils ont fait ça aléatoire parce que j'en connais d'autres qui sont en chaise roulante et qui sont toutes seules.
Okay, she said that she knows other people in wheelchairs that have kids that the DPG didn't do it, but to her, it happened to her. So
Yeah,
it's not like a law. It's not like a law in the DPG. You can't have kids in the wheelchair.
Ils s'en sont pris à moi à cause du passé de mon père aussi.
Why? What? So she said that they also targeted her because of her dad's past. So then you go, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's just like you saying, they very much are into looking at the past actions, and not just her, but her family lineage. They're trying to say, so if you get involved with the DBG in there, up there, you're screwed for the rest of your family lineage until something somehow pops you out of it. But so that's just awful in itself. But what is their plans for Cindy? What are their plans for you? Like, what are you supposed to do to ensure that you get your kids back?
Au début, il me demandait d'avoir quelqu'un 24 heures sur 24 dans la maison. Après ça, il me demandait à ce que la personne qui est dans la maison me suive à la journée longue, partout.
Mais là, qu'est-ce qu'ils demandent, la DPJ, là?
Mais là, ils veulent juste pas.
Là, ils veulent les adopter ou quoi?
Ils veulent pas les adopter, mais ils veulent les laisser en famille d'accueil.
Okay, so she says that right now, they're not talking about adoption, but they just want. Ils sont-tu placés à majorité?
Ouais.
They're placed till majority now.
So that means that they gotta go to 18.
Mais je suis en train d'essayer de renverser le classement.
Oh yeah. What did you say, Darren?
Does that mean that they're not saying that they're gonna terminate her rights, but they're saying that now they're saying that her kids are placed until the age of 18? Is that what that means? But
yeah, exactly.
Couldn't some of her family at some point stand up and fight for them?
But that's her dad has a bad past. Puis I don't know about I don't know what happened to her mom, but ta mère est où, toi? Il y avait her aunt wanted to step up, but the DPG didn't like her aunt.
Her aunt should try approaching the court and ask the court to intervene. I had a case up in Maine with a mother and a grandmother. Okay, the mother didn't want to follow through with a lot of stuff, and she screwed up a lot. But the grandmother really, really wanted to fight, and the department wouldn't allow the grandmother to intervene in any way, shape, or form, and they kept telling her no.
Right.
What we did is we went to the court and we filed paperwork with the court petitioning the court for the custody of the children, and then the judge made the decision to allow her to intervene, even though the department was telling her no.
Right. But look, I'm a grandma who wants nothing more, and they don't like me. So anything they say is like golden. So like if they have a little thing against you, you're pretty much screwed. Like,
right, but in the end though, what's the worst they can tell you? No.
I know.
You fill out a couple pieces of paper and they end up telling you no. Okay, you've wasted $20 in fuel and a couple hours of your time.
That's why Cindy is fighting. She's still, even though it's happened, she's still trying and still going and still taking up the courts and still talking about it. And she's like, I'm not going to let my kids suffer. Like she's a little go-getter, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we need more people like Cindy out there. More. Look at, she's got a wheelchair, so she's obviously. I don't even think that it probably doesn't. Whoa, whoa! It probably doesn't slow her down at all. It doesn't have any. Like she's running through life just like she should be. Like it's not starving her. It's not harboring her. It doesn't seem to me like she uses this as an excuse to feel sorry for her. She's like, screw you, people. I got to have these kids. I want my kids. How can they take these kids from this woman that they knew what the situation was? This doesn't make any sense at all.
100%. Like this does not make sense. You don't inseminate a woman if you don't think she's capable of taking care of these children. Like,
that's just
not once but twice.
Yeah.
Now, did they take the children at the same time, or was it one at a time?
One at a time.
One at a time.
Yeah.
And,
the first one is 4 and the second one is 2.
Right. So when they took the first one, what did they say?
Quand ils ont pris le premier, qu'est-ce qu'ils ont dit, c'est ça? Ils ont pris le premier en me disant qu'il fallait pas que je sois toute seule.
Okay. Well, that's what she said, that she's not allowed to be alone. Puis le deuxième, c'était quoi?
Ben, vu que le premier il était placé, ils ont pris le deuxième.
Okay, and then the second one was, since the first one was not there, they just took the second one.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Wow.
Puis quand je suis tombée enceinte du deuxième, j'avais encore la garde du premier. Mais ils m'ont enlevé mon premier quand j'avais 20 semaines de grossesse. Fait que je pouvais plus avorter.
So she said that when they took the first one, she was already at 20 weeks pregnant.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So fait toi c'était à l'hôpital, ils ont pris le deuxième aussi?
Ouais, mais non, ils ont laissé sortir le bébé chez ma tante pendant 3 semaines.
OK.
Puis quand ils se sont rendus compte que j'étais revenue vivre chez ma tante, ils ont pris le bébé.
Okay. So she said that when I asked her if she had a birth alert also at the hospital, and she said no. When she gave birth, she went home for 3 weeks with the newborn, and then they realized that she was living with her aunt, and they came and took the baby.
Parce que il disait qu'il avait peur que ma tante me laisse seule.
Okay, puis toi, ils t'ont-tu demandé? Did they ask you to come to the DPG with your 3-week-old, or did they come and take him at your house with the police?
Ils sont venus le prendre à la maison avec la police.
Okay. So she just said that they came and took the baby with the police.
Okay, so she has it. And was that experience like, I guess you would know, Josie, what we would be asking her, like, was that experience like what we see here, where the police had a major role in getting your children, or did they sit back and say, hey, we're just here as an overseer?
T'as-tu compris?
J'ai compris à moitié.
Ben, il manque que quand que la police était là, quand ils sont venus prendre le bébé, là, est-ce que la police était comme juste là en tant qu'on veut s'assurer que tout se passe bien, ou ben, puis ils ont laissé la DPJ faire leur job, ou ben c'est eux autres qui ont dit « Donnez-moi le bébé ».
Ben, il était plus en arrière, là, parce que j'étais pas en crise, mais on avait intérêt à leur donner le bébé, là.
Okay. She said that the police were more in the back, but she goes, we better have given them the baby. Like she wasn't like hostile or nothing, but so they were in the back, but she knew that she had better given the baby or else kind of.
Il y avait pas de bande auto en plus, il a fallu leur donner notre bande auto.
She goes, they didn't even have a car seat. She had to provide them with a car seat.
Jesus Christ. So what is, I don't know if you can answer this or not, where you're in a current case. How do you attack this? How do you fight this in the courts? How do you do this type of an argument?
Au début, c'était en cours jeunesse, mais là, depuis que c'est le placement en majorité, je suis en cours supérieur pour essayer d'annuler le placement.
She said it always used to be in family court, but now since they've been placed for majority, she's now going up to Superior Court to try to stop that last judgment.
Parce que la Cour supérieure peut arrêter le dernier jugement.
She said that Superior Court can stop the last judgment.
So that's
Yeah,
like
that
an
would
appeal.
be the same as our Supreme Court.
Okay.
So that would be an appeal. So that's where is that where you're at, Cindy, right now? Is that where you're in the is that
Superior
in the
Court.
court? It's just like
Supérieur.
sorry about this.
Yeah.
Keep hitting the microphone. Trying this new microphone out. So does that? So you've gone through your first, and then that's where they said that it's going to change to the age out. So now you're appealing that decision to age out. I'm just trying to understand like the system and how this works in comparison to our system and how we work it. So basically, it says, hey, you guys got ruled on that your kid is going to age out in this system. Now you have to appeal that decision, right? So essentially, it's a TPR. Do you guys have a TPR there, or is that your situation? Like, is that what they do? They just say the child will stay until it's aged out.
I have no idea what TPR is.
Termination of parental rights.
Ah, mais toi, tu as encore tes droits parentaux.
Oui.
C'est ça. She still has her parental rights.
Okay. Okay, that's good. So then they just said, hey, we're here to argue. We're here to argue the. Yeah, I'm just trying to. So you guys don't have termination of parental rights. You have what you call aged out, right? Like that's the most severe punishment that you guys get with your children is aging your child out.
Well, I think you can probably like if you would get them adopted, then you lose your parental rights. But now,
Okay.
like for her, there's probably something because she's handicapped, so
Right,
they're
right.
probably scared and they're probably being like, no, we have to be careful for her human rights. So now they're like, we're just gonna place them to majority. But I mean, they're 2 and 4.
Right.
Like
they're missing their prime
that's
time.
bad.
Right.
Yeah.
They're missing their prime time. You know, to be with mom, growing up and bonding with mom. I mean, this is essentially the same thing that's going on with your granddaughter, Jose. You know, like she's missing the years that she's supposed to have with bonding with her child.
Exactly.
Wow.
I understand that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many cases, and that's the thing. It's like everybody's case is like different and complicated and
the same.
Yeah.
But the same, right? It's just the same. It's this different, you know. Wow.
Yeah, my daughter turns 2 next month, and I've seen her 97 hours in her life.
It's crazy.
So yeah, I mean, so Cindy, you've never had time with your youngest, right? With your oldest, you had 4 years, right? With it, was that what it was? They're 2 and 4 now, or they were 2 and 4 when they were?
No, they were 2 and like 3 weeks old. 2 years old and 3 weeks old.
Oh Jesus! Okay, yeah, I knew it was young, but wow. So you've never had a full week or whatever with your youngest child. You know her just you know him through visits.
Yeah, but il est pas bien traité dans la famille d'accueil, fait qu'il a pas développé de lien d'attachement avec la famille d'accueil. Tu sais, il arrive ici puis il me dit maman, maman, maman.
Yeah, like she said that even like now there's not a big bond with the foster family, and he still goes home and is still like mommy, 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 right?
That's crazy. I just can't. Oh, go ahead, Cindy. No, go ahead. I don't know if you were going to ask something, Cindy, or if.
Ouais, tu voulais-tu dire quelque chose?
Moi, je veux juste trouver un moyen pour que tout ça arrête. J'en parle n'importe où juste pour que on espère trouver une façon que ça arrête.
Ouais, c'est ça. She all she's saying is that right now pretty much like all of us. She's attained the limit and she wants it to stop, and
Right.
like she's ready to talk about it, and like she just wants it to stop. She just wants her kids back home, like it's
Yeah.
like yeah.
Don't we all, right? That's the main game. So can you guys just go through, I don't think we've ever done this here. And I keep looking for my little notebook because my wife moved my things around a little bit today. Not that I'm blaming you, honey. But can you guys explain a little bit how your process goes from, like the point that they took Cindy's, babies or your babies, Josie? So for us, it's like this. It's like they come, they take our kids. Then we go to a 72-hour hearing. Then after the 72-hour hearing, let's say that they stay in foster care, they rule there. And that's based on a preponderance amount of evidence. Then it goes to what we call a jeopardy finding, which the jeopardy finding says, hey, we've found that you guys have this and this for a problem. So we need to work on this. They establish a safety plan. Then you go to these things called family team meetings. And then every 6 months, there's a judicial review. After X amount of times, there's a thing called a termination of parental rights, which is a trial between you and the CPS, and the judge will decide. There are some states that do allow it to have a jury trial, but anyway, regardless, it's us. The judge decides. You get TPR'd, you don't get TPR'd. Then it moves to an appeals court, and so on. So that's kind of a limited version of what we do and how our process is. What is it for you guys?
Ils vendent le processus, mais je pense que nous autres, ça commence par un placement d'urgence 72 heures, c'est ça? Après ça, c'est un placement, puis là, ça peut varier de 1 mois à 3 mois à 6 mois, je sais pas. C'est quoi le processus normal? On en a-tu un?
Ben, après le placement de 72 heures, c'est un placement temporaire qui peut aller de 12 à 24 mois selon l'âge de l'enfant. Puis quand les délais sont atteints, normalement, c'est un placement majorité automatique. Puis là, après ça, il faut aller en cour supérieure pour le changer, le jugement.
Okay, so she said, kind of like you, we have the 72 hours, like the rule when they come and take the baby, the 72 hours, and then they go to emergency, and then after that emergency, it's temporary custody, and then it can go from 1 month to 24 months, depending on the age of the child, and then it can depend. It can be like, okay, 1 month, and then 3 months, and then 6 months, and then until up to like 24 months, depending on the age. And then if you maxed out your delay, whatever, like the 1 year or the 2 years or whatever, then that's when they go into majority placement or adoption.
Puis là, il faut aller en cour supérieure, mais c'est
And then you have to
compliqué.
go to superior court to try to overrule if they maxed out of the time. But like, yeah.
So what happens, I guess, and I don't want to bring this out as a bad thing. Since you guys don't have a TPR and you have the aged out thing, what happens if they say that your child will be aged out, but you can never have, I mean, do you guys have the right to visit and be a part of your kid's life to a minute degree if your rights are terminated? Or is that just
if your rights are terminated, you're terminated, I think. But
you guys don't quite have terminated rights, right? Like you just say aged
but
out.
if they go adopted, because here the foster families here that adopt, like the foster families, there's like two different. There's like la banque mixte, puis l'autre c'est quoi?
La banque mixte ou la régulière?
Puis la banque mixte, c'est pour adoption, puis la régulière, c'est juste pour... C'est ça, hein?
Oui.
Okay, so here there's like two different types of adoption of fostering families, I guess.
Yes.
So you automatically have children that go into the banque mixte, which is like a mixed, like literally a mixed bank, which can have like any child, any color, any blah, blah. And then those are people that want to adopt a child. So so like here in DPG, you don't want your child to go into a banque mix because you know that they want to adopt your baby.
Mais les
Okay.
miens sont pas en bon mix.
And then you have the other foster family that are just doing it for the money, and that they would want a child 18 up to 18, because then they know it's fixed income, right? So
Right.
they're not willing, they don't want to adopt, they just want to do it. So then you have the foster family that do it for English, and then you got for money, and then you got the foster family that want to adopt. So there's like two different foster, but everything is organized with CPS. So the foster families are trained, are booked by CPS, right? So everything is under the same umbrella. Like they organize it all.
Wow. Okay. Jesus, so nice. So it's very close, but really the foster parents in your guys' situation plays a really, really big role and can play even a bigger role on whether your kids connect with you and keep their bond, or if they don't. Like they can very much. So is it up? So again, like with us, the Title IV funding says reunification. That's the main goal.
Oh, us
Reunification.
too. That's supposed to be the main goal. That's what's written on
Okay.
the papers. Like
Oh, okay.
services for family and reunification is the same
Yeah.
thing as here. Like family first, my ass, right? Like
Yeah.
it's
Right.
not at all, because then
Right.
these people don't have services. The kids don't have services. The moms don't have services. Like there is, what is their plan to reunify? I don't know. Like I don't know. Like
That's
an hour a week or 4 hours a week is not reunification, right?
No.
right. Right, for sure. Like that's not even close. But what cracks me up when they always talk about this stuff is they're like, "Oh, we have to phase them in. We have to let them, get used to you as this." But yet, when they come and take your child, it's no big deal. Like for her instance, for Cindy's, they ripped that baby away from the breast, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, that's just what they did, and then now she's gonna be like, "Oh, well, when they get to this, or this, that's just sickening. Really? Are you gonna really? Is this really?" What we signed up for. Oh man, this stuff frustrates me. Sorry, it just makes me so angry. Uh, it just, oh great, we got someone in the chat here. Yay, someone put in on the chat. I can't believe that there's such a system that is nationwide that allows other people to dictate what we do with our children. And if we don't like what they say or what we do, they steal them. And how can nobody else see this? Like, how is nobody out there going, "Wow, this is wrong. Wow, I can't believe this." Cindy is had her kids taken, that the state impregnated her, knew that she was in the situation she was in a wheelchair, being handicapped, to be treated with the utmost diverse situations and ethical, rights and wrong, all of that stuff, and yet they still take the kid away from her because they're like, "Oh, you're by yourself." They know this stuff, but hopefully she has an onslaught of people that are following her. Do you have a TikTok, Cindy? Do you have any of that stuff so that people hear your story? Because this is just asinine, ridiculous. I've never even heard of anything as crazy as this. Cindy, do you have TikTok or any of that stuff?
Yeah.
You do? What is your TikTok so we can get people to start paying attention to what's going on?
It's Will's mom in TikTok.
Okay, let me put you up. I'm going to put you up on the board. Let me see here. Hey guys, I want to welcome. We got Brenda and Mandy P's too in the chat. Hey guys, how are you guys tonight? I don't know. You guys are listening to this. Make sure that you guys share this story because this here is ridiculous. Hopefully, you guys have been in here watching this from the gates. But if not, hit rewind and pay attention to this because what they've done to Cindy is just it's awful, and it needs to be heard around this freaking world because this is how do they give you it, take it away? Why can't you hold them responsible for this? They already knew what they were doing to begin with. And the fact that they did it twice, right? I mean, I haven't heard. I don't know how this stuff, the insemination stuff, works and all of that either. But you guys can just in Canada, you can just go and have it done. If you want to have children, you can just go to the hospital and sign up for a program or something, and they must test you for ability and all of that stuff, right? They don't just throw
I'll
you a
ask her. Hold
baby.
on.
Yeah.
Il demande comment que ça, tu sais, comment qu'on se fait inséminer au Canada. Moi, je sais pas, je suis pas capable de répondre à cette question-là, mais tu sais, il pose des questions puis tout, là, c'est clair, là. T'as comme un
Ouais,
processus.
mais dans le fond, j'ai eu 2 ans de processus avant de tomber enceinte du premier. Parce qu'ils font l'évaluation physique, l'évaluation psychologique. Puis moi, ils m'ont dit que j'étais apte à avoir des enfants, même si j'étais assis dans ma chaise au bout de 2 ans. Fait qu'ils m'ont inséminé, mais ça a quand même pris 2 ans de procédure.
Okay, je vais dire, attends une minute. So she said that it still took her at least a good 2 years before they inseminated her. And like you said, they did psychological testing, physical testing, you know, they for 2 years. And then at the end of 2 years, they said, okay, yeah, you're good to go. You're good enough to be a mom, so they inseminated her. So it was like a 2 year process. It's not like something just go and do it. So like there was testing, there was mental, there was physical, there was, you know.
Wow. What can we do? Is there someone that we can write to, or an address that we can figure out, or like what do we do here? What the hell do we do to help Cindy? Cindy, what do we do to help you? How can we help you?
Juste partager l'histoire pour que ça se sache partout, je pense. Parce que là, ça bloque un peu avec la cause supérieure. Fait que j'ai besoin de quelque chose pour faire tomber ça un peu.
Well, she said basically just to share her story and let people know, and hopefully it'll go up to Supreme Court and it can move stuff faster. But like that's the thing, we've all done everything. Like, you know, we've tried to talk to politicians, we've written them, we've written to podcasters, we've written to journalists, we did it all, right? So right now all we want is to share and get hopefully that one person that has the D-click and be like, oh, I'm interested in Cindy's story, let me go check it out, right?
Hey, Darren, if that attorney is going to come on next week, maybe Cindy could come back.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Let me try to see. I'm driving me nuts not having my notebook. I'm sorry if I keep like looking away. I'm trying to find my notebook. It's just driving me nuts. Yes, no, I would definitely want her to come back for that. What's his name? Shoot, you got me on a pickle here. Let me see here. I have it written in my YouTube. Yeah, I've been emailing the gentleman Josie. Do you recall right off your hand? I'm gonna look him up right. I have him here. But do you recall what his name was? The one that we're trying to get in touch with, and been in touch with to get on the show here. The Canadian lawyer, like Bushwick.
Oh yeah, the one that we looked at last week or the week before.
Yeah. That's I've been trying to get in touch with him, and we've had a couple exchanges. Nothing in stone yet, but let me see what his name is. Detective. Hold on 1 second. I'll give you. Of course, he's on here all the time. Yeah, Runkle of the Bailey. Runkle of the Bailey. That's the guy. I don't know if you've heard of him, Cindy, but we're trying to get him on the show. He's also from Canada. He has a law firm up there, and it seems like he's been in that situation with the CPS or DBJ, if you guys say, or he's just getting. Either way, he seems like he wants to fight for these people. So we're trying to get him on the show. And if we get him on next week, would you be willing to, or would you want to come back in and talk to him personally so you could maybe get some help if for your case?
Yeah.
Cool. Perfect. Right. Easy. Hello, Darren. Yes. Cool. So we will do our best to get in touch with him. Boy, guys, we have a lot of work to do here because I don't even know where to even. I don't know. This is Melissa. What do you have for? What do you think a direction that we could go to help Cindy, other than sharing, obviously sharing the story? But I mean, is there anything that you can think of off your head that we could do to help her?
Well, here's what I think. I think that, me and you are both extremely computer search savvy. I think we need to start searching not just her area, but all the territories of Canada and look for attorneys elsewhere that specialize in handicap services so that if for nothing other than advice,
Right.
because like I always used to tell people when we were on the previous shows, even if you couldn't afford the attorney we were working for, call every attorney in the phone book. Get every free consult you can. Because 20 great ideas from 20 different attorneys that gave you a free 30 minutes is better than sitting there, sitting on your hands, not being able to accomplish anything. So I think over the next week, I think we should look up a list of handicap services places in areas outside of her territory that may be like National Action Network, where they will reach into members in that area and maybe build her a network.
Okay. And pink weaving. I don't know what to. All right. I think that that's a great idea. And then, hey guys, any of you out there that are right here in the chats with like Brenda and Carrie, like you three are awesome. Mandy, Carrie, and Brenda, you guys are great. Thank you so much for supporting our show. We really, really appreciate that. And if you guys want to possibly lend a hand with this stuff, we'd appreciate that too. See if you can look up some information for Cindy and see if we can't get her some answers. Just go ahead and email abolishcps.com@gmail.com, and we'll be able to get those whatever we've got to get to Cindy to get to Cindy, whether it's a story, whether it's a letter, whether it's.
What does Herbert think about this?
Yeah, Herbert, what's your thoughts, man? That's why I just brought him in. What do you think, Herbert?
I think that Melissa's idea is great. That there should be some kind of organization, if it's not there, should be established there to help her out, being a person of handicap.
Well, you can guarantee that there is an organization. It just may not be in their territory. It might be 300 miles away, but maybe they know someone.
I agree, and I think that should be what should be researched.
Yeah. Yep. I agree with that 1,000%. I absolutely agree with that. Brenda, it is abolishcps.com@gmail.com. So abolishcps.com@gmail.com. Whoa, holy smokes, guys. We are way, way up and over. So, Josie, well, we'll start with you, but do you want to explain to Cindy what we're going to do here, the last word thing, so she knows when it comes to her that she gets to do her, tell her, or you can hear me, Cindy, whatever. I don't know which way. So we do what we do, so I'll be like, Josie, last words of tonight. We'll tell.
Well, last words of tonight. On Thursday, I go see my lawyer, so hopefully I'll have more information next week about what my free lawyer is going to do for me. And besides that, thank you, Cindy, for coming on.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, Melissa, last words for tonight.
Keep your head up. The fight's never over, and no matter what happens in the end, with the fact that you get to see them 4 hours a week, they will know who you are, and you can always find them after majority. And even though it's a late start in life, it's better than not being able to see them at all. And for all the rest of the parents in the world, don't let the assholes in your door.
Right. Herbert, last words, my friend.
Yeah, the last words I have is that just keep fighting, don't give up. Based on all that I've learned from you guys, that being aggressive and listening to other people who have experienced similar situations, it will keep you feeling positive about your situation, and everything should work out. But don't keep it to yourself. Seek help. Seek help and keep pushing on.
And don't blame yourself for what happened, because it darn sure was not your fault.
Especially in this one. All right, Cindy, now it's your turn. Last words, dear.
Comment il veut un mot de la fin? Ben, je l'ai dit tantôt, dans le fond, c'était juste de partager le plus possible. Ça fait toujours du bien de pouvoir en parler un peu. Ça donne de l'espoir un peu, des fois.
Right.
Parce
She
que-
said that just talking about it gives her a little bit of hope. It also like relieves her being able to talk about it to people. And yeah, she says if everybody could just share and get her story across, then she would be like super grateful and appreciated it.
Yeah, we will all do that for sure. And Melissa has come up with that plan. So, Herbert, let's get you on this, Mr. Investigator. Let's get you on finding some of these places that will help, like the ADA here in Canada. Let's get these places that we can get Cindy some help with fighting these people to get her kids back, because she doesn't only seem like a good person, she seems like she's probably a good mom. So let's get
And
that
we should
together.
look for independent reporters,
Yep.
because obviously big media won't get involved. But because she does have a handicap, mid-sized media would want to get involved because they don't like it when people are bullied.
No,
Right.
they do not. Absolutely right about that. Absolutely right. All right, guys. Well, thank you all very much again for completing another Josie Monday, as we call it, and showing how this whole North American racket is real life that CPS is coming for. So thank you guys very much for joining me. I appreciate it. And Cindy, thank you very much for coming out tonight and telling your story. That was awesome. All right, guys. See you guys on laters. All right. Shutting you guys all out. Clear. Bye bye, Josie. And that's that. All right. All right, guys. See, um, I cannot believe that they gave her babies and then they took the babies. That just blows my freaking mind how crazy these people really are. I mean, it makes sense why they would do it that way, because what better way? Like Melissa said, it's a damn baby factory. What better way for them to just make a baby shop? Come on in, get this stuff done, and then whoop, never mind, we're gonna take them from you. And knowing who the baby was from, they know the genes. It's just wow. This stuff is just CPS is out of control everywhere and everywhere you look for it. I'm just looking for one more thing here, guys. Sorry, I want to let you. Hey, don't forget to like and share all of that stuff that you got to do. Twitch people, thank you very much for joining us. Hopefully, more of you watched than last week, which was 0. So hopefully, we can get something out to change that, so that you guys can start getting words out there. Oh yeah, fun. So maybe we can get some more people out to watching the show. I want to thank Mandy and Carrie and Brenda for all being here and being such great people to support our show. You guys are amazing, and all the rest of you that are here, thank you very much. Make sure that you guys like, subscribe, all of those things. I can't get on that enough. And make sure that you check out aboliscps.com. All kinds of stuff there that you guys can look at, check out. That's where our apparel is. Also, people, don't like this a thing, if you will, but I do need some help with this show. So if you guys could possibly, if you can't donate, then that's fine. I understand. But if you can, here's the QR code for you guys to scan. And if you can't, at the minimum, could you please at least Oh, sorry. I'll show you this. I'm stuck in this the thing here. If you can't, if you could at least, let your friends and people know around you that we need support with the show. So that's right here. Let me get this quote off the bottom of the screen here. Sorry, guys. That is it for the overlay. Boom, boom. Clean that. Oh, let's not show the overlay. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to get rid of this. Hide this. Let's go to the QR codes again. We're going to do that. Support this team. And ladies and gentlemen, as always, thank you very much. I am. Same time, same place, or CPS, or Hunter Justice.
Mommy's right here. I got you, baby. I'm not hurting you. I'm supporting my daughter because this is going to court. I love you, baby.
Greetings, world. We are anonymous. Families are being destroyed. Children are being emotionally torn apart. In the United States, this all began when President Bill Clinton signed the Adoption and Safe Families Act of 1997. Since then, taking children from their loving parents has become a multi-billion-dollar industry. Children are now seen as walking, breathing bags of money for corrupt state governments all over the United States. The US government incentivizes the kidnapping of children by providing lump sums of cash from federal funding to the states.
Going to CPS, trying to work everything out with them, thinking my son might be adopted.
Our children are the most precious people in our lives. We must protect them. In many cases, children are taken from their loving parents for the smallest of reasons, such as eating too much fruit or smoking a joint in their own home.
Child Protective Services, CPS, has all been known for massive corruption, the falsifying of documents, statements, and the list goes on.
Now, state police issued an Amber Alert for the pair on Monday after she failed to turn her son over to CYFD. On Tuesday, Bryant went on Facebook claiming she's the victim of CPS corruption.
This is a legal, human trafficking mafia with unlimited power and absolutely no accountability.
You want some juice, Mama? You want to take your juice? You want to drink a little bit right now?
Let her hold her since she seems to be kind of the calmest right now.
Okay.
This is a call to all, remove your fear, and put on your masks. Find all of the CPS groups on social media platforms, get involved, do extensive research. Arm yourself with information. If you live in fear of the CPS mafia, then remove your fear, join with others and fight back. We will push to change the system, as long as the CPS uses corrupted methods to destroy our lives.
The Department of Child Protective Services has become a protected empire, built on taking children and separating families.
This is Nancy Schaefer. She gave up her career, and later her life, for the fight against CPS. The details of her murder are very suspicious. And was murdered by the CPS for her heroic deeds. Please research her.
This is not to say that there are not those children who do need to be removed from wretched situations and need protection. However, my report is concerned with the children and parents caught up in legal kidnapping. have worked with probably 300 cases statewide and hundreds across the country. And in nearly every state, I am convinced there is no accountability. There is no accountability. There is no accountability in child protective services.
CPS is well known for massive corruption and criminal acts.
Assault, burglary, DWI, theft, domestic violence, indecent exposure, prostitution, possession of cocaine and marijuana, and selling alcohol to minors. What do all of these crimes have in common? They are just some of the crimes committed by people who work for the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. That's right, the agency in charge of protecting Texas children. We found more than 370 employees have a criminal background. Some have direct contact with foster kids. David Mendoza pled guilty to assault with bodily injury to a family member and violating a protective order. He's a CPS supervisor in El Paso. Richard Landon was arrested for indecent exposure in 1997, and in 1994 he was arrested for prostitution after soliciting an undercover cop. He also works for the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services.
Look at that baby. Look how beautiful that baby is. They'll get hundreds of thousands of federal funds, especially if they put it on a couple psychotropic drugs, and then they'll adopt it out to somebody.
We call all to join together and stop this mafia. Child Protective Services, also known as CPS. CPS custody is one of the most dangerous places for a child. Many children are abused and sometimes even killed.
My son, I'm filing a lawsuit.
CPS, Child Protective Services, we are waking up to your corruption involved with children, and we will expose you. We are anonymous, we are legion, we do not forgive, and we never forget. CPS, expect us.
All right, guys, like, share, support, all that stuff. Talk to you all next. Same time, same place.